One American ally that is closely watching the growing tensions between Russia and the United States is Estonia, which borders Russia. Estonian President Kaljulaid joins me now. Madam President, thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
I want to ask you about your trip, your perception of your days here, and what you're hoping to get out of this trip.
Well, my meetings with senators, including Madam Speaker, also Ambassador Bolton. These meetings have been useful exchange of information about our, how to put it, rather complicated world.
Yes, it is complicated. It's also dangerous in your neighborhood. There's a threat from Russia, especially to your country and others. The potential that Russia could maybe even try what it did in Crimea with Ukraine. How much are you worried about that?
Well, first of all, there is an important distinction, of course, between the Eastern European countries who are not NATO members and Estonia, which is a NATO member country. So NATO, as you well know, has a 100% track record in protecting its allies. And I don't think it is right to say that we are facing particular risks and tensions in the Baltic states and in Estonia. Because if you think about the actions which we have seen, nowadays geography doesn't matter. And I'm not only talking about cyber. Think of Salisbury, in the middle of a NATO territory, very far from Russian territory, which demonstrates to us that we cannot separate the security of one country from the security of the whole alliance.
We put this map up because this one town, Narva, is right along the border, and a lot of people there speak Russian. It's been the focus of a number of articles about whether Russia potentially goes in and it creates what NATO fears is a Narva scenario where Article 5 of the NATO Charter would have to be implemented. It's only been implemented, as you know, once, and that is to support after 9/11 here in the U.S. Are you worried at all that the U.S. would not step up and meet that Article 5 responsibility?
First of all, no, I'm not worried. Indeed, we have an important Russian-speaking minority, and 30 years ago we were all very worried how they will integrate into the free world, because the only country they had been living in was a tyranny. Soviet Union. And nowadays, actually, I have very often to defend our Russian minority, because people think that simply because your great-grandfather lived in Russia and you like to make Porsche at home and you speak Russian to your grandmother means you think like President Putin. But this is not absolutely true. This is very unfair to treat this way our Russian-speaking people.
So I know Congress here has voted numerous times to say the U.S. is committed to NATO and all elements of it. Have you gotten that commitment from President Trump, from administration officials, that they're 100% in no matter what?
May I remind you, when we visited the White House at the centenary of the Baltic states last year, what did President Trump tell us?
The Baltic republics can trust the United States will remain a strong, proud, and loyal friend and ally.
And may I add that I'm very grateful. Every Estonian still remembers that when we were occupied, you didn't let us down. Growing up in Soviet Union, I somehow still knew that there are United States of America and other free countries where our flag, blue, black and white, is being visible, is being seen in the protests against our occupation. Believe me, this was extremely important. And this way, USA is standing behind us and beside us and together with us in our free world nowadays. But now we are protecting each other as equal partners. Absolutely. I have received assurance, also bipartisan assurance, that NATO does matter. Transatlantic relations do matter, because we have only one free world, threatened by numerous threats. It's not only Russia, there are other actors globally, and Estonia has always been very mindful about other risks. We've been in Afghanistan, in Iraq, still are.
Last thing, Madam President, and that is the issue of trade.
We're going to tariff a lot of their products coming in because the European Union treats us very, very unfairly.
It could get tense between the U.S. and the European Union when it comes to tariffs and what lies ahead. What's your perception of that as these negotiations continue?
I am from a small open economy, so it is extremely easy to see that for me market access is extremely important, and therefore I'm always standing for free trade as much as we can create it. And I think we need to build trust gradually. Free market is also part of our values and freedoms, and I believe that we will continue solving our differences as we have always been solving our differences. I would also like to add that I'm extremely grateful to this support which we have seen from your congressmen, because this also has a deterrent effect on all the risks which we are facing. This also builds gradually this trust which we need also to solve our numerous differences.
Madam President, we appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.